The clock shows 11:48 p.m. Your laptop is still on. 23 browser tabs are open. Your phone vibrates every 3 minutes. And you tell yourself, I'm tired, but the truth is, your body isn't the thing that's exhausted. Your brain has run out of direction. You're not tired because you work too hard. You're tired because you're thinking about too many unfinished things. And here's a truth that people rarely talk about. The greatest exhaustion in the modern world doesn't come from physical work. It comes from a mind that keeps jumping without ever truly focusing. The illusion of being too busy. Today, many people feel like their lives are overwhelming. They say, I'm so busy. I have too much work. I'm mentally exhausted. But if we look a little deeper, the reality is slightly different. Many people aren't actually busy working. They are busy switching between email, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, news, back to work, then scrolling again. Research from the University of California found something interesting. The average person gets interrupted every 3 to 5 minutes while working. And after each interruption, the brain needs around 23 minutes to return to full focus. Think about that. If your attention gets interrupted 4 times in an hour, you almost never reach deep focus. You're simply restarting your brain over and over again. Like a car that keeps doing this, engine on, stop, engine on, stop. The engine gets hot, but the car never travels far. The modern world floods the brain. The human brain was not designed to live in today's world. In the past, people made around 20 to 30 small decisions a day. Today, researchers estimate we make over 35,000 micro decisions every single day. Small choices like, what should I eat? Should I reply to this message now? Should I check email? Should I scroll for a moment? Should I keep working? These decisions seem trivial, but every decision uses mental energy. Psychologists call this phenomenon decision fatigue. The more small decisions you make, the faster your focus energy disappears. That's why many people feel exhausted by noon, unproductive in the afternoon, and only want to scroll at night. Even though they didn't lift anything heavy, they were simply choosing too much. The brain was never designed for multitasking. Many people proudly say, I'm great at multitasking, but neuroscience says something brutal. Multitasking doesn't really exist. What actually exists is task switching. Your brain jumps rapidly from one task to another, and every switch costs energy. Imagine this. You're writing a report. Suddenly a WhatsApp message appears. You check it, then you go back to writing. It looks like it only took 10 seconds, but something deeper happened inside your brain. Scientists call it attention residue, which means when you return to your report, you're not bringing 100% of your focus back. Now imagine this happening 50 times a day. Suddenly it makes sense why, at night, you feel like saying, why am I so exhausted when I barely worked? Because your mental energy leaked throughout the entire day. A generation with too many choices. There's a strange paradox in modern life. The more choices we have, the harder it becomes to focus. In the past, one job, one city, one life path. Today, the options are endless. You could become a YouTuber, a freelancer, an entrepreneur, an investor, a trader, a content creator, a remote worker. The problem isn't the choices themselves. The problem is the constant question in the back of your mind. Is this the best option? Is there something better? Am I missing out on something? This is known as FOMO, fear of missing out. When your mind constantly looks at other possibilities, you're never fully present in the work you're doing. Your focus spreads in 10 different directions, and the result? Nothing truly moves forward. The internet is rewiring the brain. The internet has given humanity incredible power, access to knowledge, global opportunities, unlimited information. But there is also a hidden cost. Digital platforms are designed to capture attention, not accidentally, but scientifically. Every notification, like, comment, short video triggers dopamine in the brain. Dopamine makes us feel, this is interesting, but there's a side effect. Dopamine trains the brain to constantly look for new stimulation. As a result, the brain becomes trained for distraction, not for focus. Focus is the new currency. In the industrial age, the most valuable resource was physical strength. In the information age, it became knowledge. But in today's digital world, the rarest resource is not strength. It's not information. The rarest resource is attention. Someone who can focus deeply for 3 uninterrupted hours has a massive advantage today, because most people struggle to focus for even 15 minutes. That's why great programmers build billion-dollar software, focused writers create best-selling books, dedicated creators build massive audiences. Not because they are necessarily smarter, but because they possess depth of focus. Modern exhaustion is a leak of attention. Many people try to solve their exhaustion the wrong way. They try vacations, Netflix, sleeping longer, casual scrolling. But the real problem isn't rest. The real problem is a scattered mind. Imagine pouring water into a bucket with holes in it. No matter how much water you pour, the bucket never fills. The solution isn't pouring more water. The solution is closing the leaks. In modern life, those leaks are notifications, multitasking, overthinking, too many choices. The most successful people simplify their lives. Interestingly, many of the most productive people in the world do something very similar. They reduce decisions. For example, Steve Jobs wore almost the same outfit every day. Mark Zuckerberg does something similar. Why? Not because they couldn't afford different clothes, but because they refused to waste mental energy on trivial decisions. They saved their decision power for important things. The principle is simple: the fewer small decisions you make, the more energy you have for focus. Focus is not a talent, it's a system. Many people think focus is something you're born with, but in reality, focus is an environment you design. If you work with notifications on, your phone next to you, 10 browser tabs open, a TV playing in the background, deep focus becomes almost impossible. But if you turn off notifications, work in time blocks, do one task at a time, your brain begins entering a state called deep work. Deep work is when time feels faster, your thinking becomes clear, productivity explodes. This isn't magic, it's simply the brain finally being undisturbed. The brutal truth about mental energy. Human mental energy is limited. You cannot focus for 12 hours straight, make endless decisions, switch tasks without consequences. Every activity consumes mental battery. The problem? Many people spend that battery on things that don't matter. For example, 1 hour scrolling news, 40 minutes arguing in comments, 30 minutes checking notifications. Then when it's time to do meaningful work, the battery is almost empty. The world rewards depth, not noise. Many people try to do everything. A little business, a little content, a little investing, a few random projects. But history shows something very clear. The people who truly succeed usually do a few things very deeply. Great writers write, great programmers code, great creators create. They don't try to become everything at once. They choose a path and dig very deep. Focus changes lives faster than motivation. Motivation feels powerful, but it usually lasts only a few days. Focus is different. Focus means doing the important work consistently even when you don't feel excited. Motivation helps you start. Focus helps you finish. A simple test. Be honest with yourself. Can you do this? Work for 64 minutes without opening your phone, without checking notifications, without opening another tab. If that feels difficult, the problem isn't laziness. Your brain has simply become addicted to distraction. How to rebuild your focus? The solution is actually simple. Not easy, but simple. Some principles: turn off unnecessary notifications. Work in time blocks. For example, 90 minutes focus, 15 minutes rest. Do one task at a time. Reduce information consumption. Not everything deserves your attention. Choose clear priorities in life. Not every opportunity needs to be taken. The advantage of focus in the future. In the future, people will split into two groups. The first group, people living in permanent distraction. The second group, people who control their attention. The second group will have an enormous advantage, because when everyone else is scattered, focused individuals move much faster. So the next time you say, "I'm exhausted," ask yourself a more honest question. Are you truly tired? Or is your mind simply spread across too many directions? Because the truth many of us avoid is this: most of us don't lack energy, we lack direction. And when focus returns, something interesting happens. Work becomes lighter, time feels longer, life becomes clearer. Because in the end, the greatest energy humans can experience doesn't come from rest. It comes from a mind that finally knows where it's going.